Welcome back to Turning Hard Times into Good Times. I'm your host, Jay Taylor, and I'm really glad to have with me once again Brook Macdonald, and also happy to have join Brook also his chief geologist, Yvan Crepeau. Cornerstone Capital is the company in question here. It trades in Canada under the symbol CGP, and you can buy it in the United States under the symbol CTNXF. Welcome, Brook, and welcome also, Yvan.
Thanks, Jay. It's good to be back on the show.
Good to have both of you with me today. We want to talk to Brook first about the bigger corporate picture. Brook, for the benefit of those listening who may not have heard you on the show before or may not be familiar with Cornerstone Capital, can you talk a little bit about your company's business model and where you are conducting your business and perhaps the progress that you've made to date?
Sure. For people that don't know the story, Cornerstone is a prospect generator. Following the joint venture model, we try and identify good prospects, spend a year to 18 months on them doing geological, geophysical, geochemical work to identify coincident anomalies and drill targets, and then we look for a partner with deeper pockets to fund the drilling, which is expensive, and we retain a minority interest. And that way we try and spend other people's money to the extent possible to minimize dilution by issuing shares to do the drilling, which is quite expensive. We're focused on finding gold, silver, and copper deposits in Ecuador and Chile at our Cascabel joint venture in northern Ecuador, which is funded by our partner, Australian AIM-listed SolGold PLC. Hole 5 of an ongoing drilling program intersected over 1,300 meters, creating over 0.6% copper and over 0.5 gram per ton gold. That was clearly a discovery hole of what we believe is a world-class gold-enriched copper porphyry deposit that Yvan will speak to a little later in the interview. Cornerstone retains a 15% interest financed through the completion of a bankable feasibility study in that project.
Well, it certainly is a very exciting project, and I'm looking forward to what Yvan has to say about it. You had a very interesting time up in Toronto on March 1st. You had something called the Ecuador Day. Talk to us about what was the Ecuador Day all about. Unfortunately, I missed the events, and I want to thank you for inviting me to go there. I just didn't get there. You know how the PDAC is such a busy place. It wasn't that it wasn't. It was high up on my list of things to do. It's just I was just overwhelmed. But talk to us a little bit about Ecuador Day and what that was all about.
Sure, Jay. For the listeners, usually we talk mainly about the projects and the drill results, but I want to speak briefly about Ecuador Day and about some recent tax changes in Ecuador because I think it's really important for people that have been following Ecuador. This is the first year that Ecuador was one of the country sponsors of PDAC, the Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada's annual convention in Toronto the first week of March. This is the largest mining show in the world, something over 25,000 attendees. Ecuador Day was held on Monday, March 1st. It was really well attended, standing room only for much of the day. The morning began with an introduction by the new Ecuadorian ambassador to Canada, Nicolas Trujillo. Then they featured a video on all the power plants, ports, highways, and other infrastructure development going on in the country. And that was followed by speeches by the Minister of Strategic Sectors, Rafael Poveda, and the new Minister of Mines, Javier Cordova. Rafael Poveda holds the third most powerful position in the executive branch after President Rafael Correa and Vice President Jorge Glass. And Javier Cordova is the first minister of the newly created Ministry of Mines, which was created just about a month and a half ago. It was they separated natural resources into energy, petroleum, natural gas, and a new Ministry of Mines to give the mining sector equal weight with petroleum to show investors that they really are serious about developing mining. Then there were some roundtables with companies and government officials, and in the afternoon, only 3 companies presented. Lundin Gold. Lucas Lundin made the presentation himself about their acquisition of the Fruta del Norte gold deposit there that they acquired from Kinross for something like $240 $50 or $60 million. They got a very good price, and they believe very strongly that Ecuador is turning around and that they're going to have a first mover advantage. And then Cornerstone presented, and then our partner SolGold gave a detailed presentation on the Cascabel project. I think in general most of the attendees came away from the show or from Ecuador Day with the impression that Ecuador is going in the right direction and is open for business again.
Well, I would just certainly interject that if Lundin is getting in there, he's nobody's fool. He's known to be a bottom fisher, a guy who's able to go in and buy value. So if he's putting his money into Ecuador, I think that's a very good sign.
Yeah, and Jay, he also said he's not really overly concerned with the country risk. He said he's been in much more difficult places like the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Yeah, I guess so.
And they've made it work. And he sees Ecuador as people they can work with, and that things are really turning in the right direction.
Okay, so Ecuador, though, has had a reputation in recent years of not being the greatest place to go, and but I think I hear you saying there's probably some changes going on that to attract capital into the mining industry, and one of which is taxes, I believe you were saying?
That's correct, Jay, and last May, well, let me step back. The government in early 2014 or the end of 2013 retained Wood Mackenzie, the international consulting firm, to advise them on how to make Ecuador more competitive in the to direct foreign investment in the mining sector. They compared Ecuador with a comparator group of 5 countries in the region that have been successful in attracting investment in the mining sector, Chile, Peru, Mexico, Colombia, and Brazil. And then they showed them where they fell short, and they gave them a detailed plan of action on what changes to make in order to make the country more competitive. There have been 2 tax provisions in Ecuador that have caused a lot of concern among mining companies. One, the sovereign adjustment, or the principle enshrined in the Constitution that the state's cumulative economic benefits in a natural resource project not drop below 50% of the total. And 2, the 70% windfall profits tax that investors have argued could take away the upside from shareholders who take big risks investing in these mining projects, especially in countries. Last October, on the advice of Wood Mackenzie, the government amended the regulations to change the calculation of both the sovereign adjustment and the metal price at which the windfall profits tax kicks in. Both will now apply only after mine payback from a financial perspective, meaning after payback plus adjustments for compounded inflation and opportunity costs. Think of it like the NPV of past investment dollars as opposed to future cash flows discounted back to an NPV. This means that neither the sovereign adjustment nor the windfall profits tax will be an issue for miners until following an extended period after commercial production begins. So clearly the government has taken the teeth out of these 2 provisions.
Okay, so that's very, very important. I think something to keep in mind certainly is looking at investments in Ecuador. I'm wondering now, Brook, if you might just introduce Yvan to us and let Yvan talk a little bit about the Cascabel project, which is really, I think, looking very, very spectacular.
I will. I'll just say two final points on the taxes. The government has also introduced in December tax stability agreements for the life of the mine project. People may be familiar with the Decree Law 600 that really helped foreign investment come into the mining sector about 20 years ago in Chile. This should be something like that. And another tax reform that is in the works is accelerated depreciation for the mining companies. We've been told that is a done deal, and the only thing that has to be finalized is the list of items that qualify so they can embed it in the customs system. Yes, I'd like to introduce our Vice President of Exploration and our country manager in Ecuador. He's been in Ecuador since 2006, almost as long as the company. Yvan, would you please give the listeners an update on the Cascabel project, and if there's time, on the other 2 projects that we've done work on recently, Caña Brava in Ecuador and Miocene in Chile?
Yeah, thank you, Brook, for the introduction. Okay, hello, Jay. Okay, I'm going to go. Okay, I will review. Okay, where we are standing here with the Cascabel project. Okay, as mentioned earlier by Brook. Okay, this project, which started from scratch in 2012. Okay, this project delivered some outstanding results so far. Okay, hole number 5 is considered to be the discovery hole. Okay, but every hole drilled on the project, we are currently drilling hole number 10. Okay, every hole intersected very significant mineralization. It's a very good sign. Okay, some examples. Hole number 1, first hole, okay, 300 meters at 0.7%, okay, copper equivalent. Hole number 5, 1.3 kilometers, okay, at roughly 1% copper equivalent. Hole 7, 8, 7 and 8, roughly 1 kilometer at between 0.5 and 0.7% copper equivalent. Okay. Hole number 9, the results have been released some time ago. 1,300 meters at 1.06% copper equivalent. This is really outstanding. Okay. We are currently drilling hole number 10. Okay. This hole is at a depth of 902 meters. Okay, as per yesterday. SolGold announced a few days ago, okay, that the upper high-grade zone has been intersected, okay, about 85 meters with strong copper sulfide mineralization. No assay results yet, okay. The lower high-grade zone is expected to be intercepted at a depth of about 1,200 meters down to 1,700 or 1,800 meters. At PDAC, okay, SolGold announced that it will increase drilling rates, okay, and results flow, including a resource statement in the next 12 to 15 months, with some preliminary scoping of economic parameters and engineering work, okay, starting in 2015, this year. But we're drilling, okay, the Alpala target area. This is the most advanced target, okay, but have to consider there's another 4 to 5 targets that still are virgin, okay, that never have been drilled.
Wow.
These ones, okay, will be drilled, okay, later on this year or next year. Last word about Cascabel. What I want to say is Cascabel is an excellent example, okay, of Cornerstone business model and also its capability, okay, to deliver the goods in Ecuador. Okay, we started from almost nothing, and made a discovery in 17 months, middle of nowhere. Okay, I believe this is something. Okay, and there are still a lot more to be found, okay, to be discovered in Ecuador. That's about it, okay, regarding our Cascabel project.
Okay, Yvan, if I might just ask one quick question. When you talk about copper equivalents, there is a significant gold credit there, though, too, isn't there? Can you give us a sense of what the percentage of those, just in general, a range of what the importance of gold is in that copper equivalent numbers that you were quoting?
Okay. In terms of value, okay, about economic value in intersection, about 65 to 70% of the value, or the total value, is for copper, and there's a 35%, okay, of the value comes from gold.
Okay.
Ratio gold to copper on the project is about 1-to-1. 1% copper. When you get 1% copper, you get 1 gram per ton gold. This is very significant. This is not something you can find in a lot of countries.
That's remarkable, and I'm really looking forward to that resource because I think there's going to be some pretty big numbers there.
Yeah, potential is, okay, for something very big, okay, and something that should be high grade as well.
Right. Yeah, and for a company whose market cap is very low, I think our listeners should really pay attention to Cornerstone. But with a couple of minutes we have left here yet, talk about a couple of your other properties you started to talk about. You have a couple of other gold targets, I think, in Ecuador, perhaps at the southern end of the country?
Yes, in the Loja province, in the south-central part of the country, there's a project called Caña Brava. Okay, we released the exploration results, okay, on this 100% owned project on February 26th, a few weeks ago. The work we did at the end of last year and earlier this year, okay, we've been able to outline 2 very significant, okay, porphyry gold copper targets. This is outlined, okay, by coincident geological, geochemical, and geophysical anomalies. Of course, this is not a guarantee, okay, that there is an ore body at Caña Brava, okay, but certainly, okay, it tells you that our chance to find ones are enhanced, okay. There's a very perfect fit, okay, with geology, geochem, and geophysics. There's also on top of this porphyry or these porphyries, okay, there's a gold, silver, rich epithermal system that lie on top of that. Never has been drilled. Okay, we're currently doing a trenching program. Should be able to define some drill targets next couple of months. Okay, and we're looking for a partner to join efforts. Okay, to drill this highly prospective property. In the second half of this year. This is for the Caña Brava project that we have in Ecuador. The other one is the Miocene project. This one is located in Chile, in region 2 and 3 of Chile. We carried out some extensive field work on this property late last year. We are currently compiling and analyzing the data. We should get the news release out next few weeks. Okay. We on this project, Cornerstone controls approximately 16,000 hectares of really prospective land. This is right on strike, with significant mineralized prospect discovered by our neighbor Mirasol Resources. We have to say, Mirasol did very good work, the last couple of years, and they were able to do some trenching, some drilling, and did outline very significant prospect. I don't know exactly what are their plans. Surely they wanted they're looking for partners as well. But they already have some drilling done, and there's some more drilling planned for this company. Our Miocene project is located on same trend, same geology, same structural corridor, extensive epithermal alteration zones at surface. Next step for Cornerstone, doing some field work, some ground geophysics, some trenching, and then some drilling. Again, this project is the result of our generative program, selecting prospective areas within underexplored regions, carrying out some regional low-cost prospecting work, and discovering new prospects, which will be explored and developed with high-quality partners. This is when we combine what we call complementary skills. Our skills are to start from scratch, explore, and when we get something of interest, attract a partner that will finance the final part of the program. Trenching and drilling.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's very good. I'd like to ask you, or perhaps Brook, with the final seconds here of today's show, are there any prospects for a couple of these other targets that you've identified, or are you still going to do more work before you seek joint venture partners on them?
We've been talking to a number of companies about the prospects in Ecuador, and we have also spoken about the prospect in Chile, Miocene. In the prospects in Ecuador, I think there are many companies that really like the rocks, and they were waiting to see whether the government is going to come around and make some of these changes. So I think that we're going to get more interest in the coming months on these projects.
Good, excellent. Well, certainly a better mining environment, a better gold environment would help too, I'm sure. Well, I want to thank you both. Anything else, real quickly yet, anything else you'd like to add, Brook or Yvan?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Just say that Ecuador also has lower power and labor costs, a better power grid, and highway infrastructure, and abundant water, which are some of the things that...
So the country's open for business. The country's open for business is what I hear you saying. It hasn't been so much so that should mean that the early bird gets the worm, as they say. The companies that are in there early, Ecuador certainly being one of, Cornerstone certainly being one of them, should be in a great position. And what I think is outstanding, as Yvan, you were mentioning, didn't take you guys long to find what looks like a very major deposit. So congratulations on that. So we'll look forward to keeping up with you guys. Thank you very much for your time and for sharing your insights with us today. Thank you very much.
Okay.